But in the meantime, another war is brewing, and this one is far more serious.
A political hit job. Labor braces for war with Murdoch media.
Labor is bracing for an escalating assault from News Corp and fears further attacks in the final days of the election campaign.
So, what is this war all about? Well, after weeks of hostilities and negative News Corp front pages, it all went nuclear after Bill Shorten told Q&A last Monday about his inspirational mum.
She became a teacher, but she wanted to be a lawyer, but she was the eldest in the family, so needed to take the teacher scholarship to look after the rest of the kids. If she had had other opportunities, she could have done anything. I can't make it right for my mum, but I can make it right for everyone else.
Some hailed that as a turning point in the campaign, a human story from a leader often seen as stiff. Then on Wednesday, the Daily Telly dropped its M-bomb.
Mother of invention.
Revealed. Shorten's heartfelt tale missing vital fact.
The Courier Mail, which also has no love for Labor, made it front-page news as well.
Key fact missing from Shorten's family tale.
So, what was this key fact? That Bill's mum, Anne, had actually got a law degree in her late 50s and worked briefly as a barrister, which Shorten has admitted several times before. So, according to News Corp, he'd misled voters. It was a pathetic, mean and personal attack, and it moved Bill to tears.
They play gotcha shit about your life story, more importantly my mum's.
Social media erupted in anger, and Labor's heavyweights saw their chance to go on the offensive.
What we saw today is a new low from News Limited Media, using someone's dead mother to attack them.
The Telly's reporter Anna Caldwell naturally denied the charge and told Sky's Chris Kenny the critics had got it wrong.
There is no sentence at all in that story that is an attack on Bill Shorten's mother. She had an incredible career, and in fact this story is articulating that. The reality is he didn't articulate the full story, and so in the Daily Telegraph today we have done that.
How very kind of them. But few were buying that absurd defence, and even the Prime Minister for once was on Bill's side.
I can understand that that would have upset him a great deal, and I would only extend my best wishes to him.
More remarkably, one of News Corp's leading columnists stuck up for Shorten too.
In an extraordinary intervention, News Corp's best-known writer, Andrew Bolt, disavowed the story. Shorten spoke truly when he said his mother sacrificed her dream to be a lawyer, taking up teaching to help her siblings. There is no invention here.
Andrew Bolt pointed out that his paper, the Herald Sun, had chosen not to run the story, a decision he supported. But what really split the Murdoch ranks was this eye-popping piece in The Guardian on Thursday.
For 30 years I worked for News Corp papers. Now all I see is shameful bias.
The author of that op-ed, Tony Kosh, was once a News Corp star. Seen here with his boss, Rupert Murdoch, in 2008, he's won more than 50 journalism awards. And his verdict on the telly could not have been more damning.
Has there been a more shameful article than the appalling story concerning Bill Shorten's mother's work and published in the Courier Mail and the Daily Telegraph? That effort will forever be the rotting albatross hanging around the neck of its author.
Nor did Tony Kosh stop there. Widening his aim to the two newspapers he used to work for, the Courier Mail and the Australian, he continued,
I have many Conservative friends who are as disgusted as I am at these newspapers because they know that what they are reading is either distorted or just plain wrong.
We should perhaps point out that Kosh is now volunteering for Labor in Peter Dutton's seat of Dixon. But he was not alone. A tweet from Peter Logue, the Australian and Telegraph's chief political editor in the 1980s, called Kosh's criticisms spot on, while Paul Sivret, who left the Courier Mail last year, said it summed up his feelings to a T. Then, a tape of the Australian's social affairs reporter Rick Morton at a UTS event popped up on the internet with another withering assessment of the telly's front page.
If their intention was to make him look bad, they f***ed up. And, you know, that's frankly, in a long kind of history of really bad front pages, that's one of the worst I've ever seen.
But it was Morton's claims about systemic bias at News Corp that hit home hardest. The Australian, he said, barracks for the coalition, and journalists at the paper know what's expected of them.
You kind of know what the editorial line is, right, at the paper. And the people at the top know what it is. It's not always Murdoch's line, it's just that Murdoch hires editors who are very much like him.
Those who don't toe the line, said Morton, have trouble getting in the paper. And front-page stories can get rewritten or reframed if they don't hit the right tone.
I've certainly seen it happen to other people and other good journalists who wake up in the morning and their copy's changed, or the headline is just screaming something that they didn't write. And we talk about this every day. Some days are worse than others, obviously. You'll see the front page and go, what the Like, where did that come from? And, like, oftentimes the headline bears no resemblance to the story you filed.
Morton claims it's always been a problem at The Australian, but it's worse now than he's ever seen it. And recently, the craziness has been dialed up.
Something has changed in the last 6 months, and I don't know what it is. Whether it's death rattles or loss of relevance, I don't know. But something's changed, and, you know, journos, we pretty much spend our whole days talking about it.
It's what many have long suspected, but nobody inside News Corp has dared to say out loud until now. So, how did his boss respond? In a statement, The Australian's editor Chris Dorr ignored the criticism entirely and talked up his newsroom.
I'm immensely proud of the exceptionally talented group of journalists and editors who work at The Australian. Our remarkable team of journalists have always been encouraged to challenge conventional thinking, question authority and pursue the truth.
So, is this a turning point? Who knows? But one thing is sure, the telly's attack on Labor backfired, and the critics of the Murdoch media have never been louder.